I was just asked by my boyfriend how many people I have slept with. How should I tell him? My boyfriend just asked me how many men I have slept with. Literally just now in this moment. He is out having a smoke and a beer because I guess me saying I don't want to tell him stresses him out. I have been with multiple partners. And I know that my boyfriend has only been with a handful of partners and I believe a one-nighter. My number of boyfriends and hookups exceed his by far. Honestly, I've never been ashamed of it, until now. I have told him all about the boyfriends, and a few FWB that hung around for a while longer than hookups. I feel like he is measuring how much he loves me right now. If I tell him, I am scared that our relationship will be over. We have had an awesome relationship thus far, going on 2 years in October. This topic never came up before, and anytime I told him about certain boyfriends in my past, he told me it makes him uncomfortable and angry. I know he is jealous and hurt by my past actions, especially with the men who I was in a very hurtful relationship before. I have also smoked a lot of weed and drank a lot in the past. I am now a very different and stronger person because of my past. I have started a new life for myself and worked very hard for everything I accomplished. I am happy and feel like my boyfriend is the one. I have no idea what to do right now. I get being transparent and telling your partner everything, but he said a few things that make me feel uneasy about the direction of our future. He said, "The more I get to know you, the more I..." Literally just left me hanging, and I feel disgusted by you, and your choices, as if those choices were made by me now. Should I give him a number? How should I tell him? Update. I just told him a rough number and he left. He kept being very persistent and I asked him, how would this help our relationship? Is this going to make you love less, or are you going to be satisfied with what I tell you? He kept asking and asking and asking, the same thing, how many? How many? How many? I told him a fucking ballpark number to shut him up. Now he's gone. Without saying anything. I can't stop crying. Everyone asking me how many people I have been with or are making up number. Please stop. You are not helping. To the really nice people in my DMs giving me real and actual advice, I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. And to any comments. I can't believe this at all, and how big this has blown up, it's crazy. TR. Boyfriend wants me to tell him how many people I have slept with. He is very disappointed and disgusted with me. I have not told him anything as of yet. Comment. Well, considering the foundation of every good relationship is honesty, the best thing to do is not ask Reddit how to answer him. If you tell him and he upset by it, it's a good time to cut and run. The only way to respond to him is by telling him the truth. If that causes him to leave, then he's judgmental, and you dodged a bullet. I know it hurts, but you don't want to sustain a relationship on lies. This topic intrigues me. I see my exes as part of my life story, for better or worse. They are no longer in my life and never will be again. If I want to tell a funny story or an impactful story, am I supposed to pretend my exes never existed? I learned some huge life lessons from bad relationships that shaped who I am today and what I look for in a partner. And I've had some incredibly fun adventures with past partners. I would never speak of an ex in a way that implies I miss them or that I'm comparing my current partner to them. That would be both untrue and cruel. Oftentimes, instead of mentioning an ex in a positive light, I'll just vaguely refer to them as my friend. If it doesn't matter to the story, I don't think there's a reason to mention who the friend was. I try to strike a good balance between not directly speaking of the ex too much but still allowing myself to share those parts of my life story, and I often wonder if I'm doing it right or wrong. So far, only one guy has complained, but it was kind of nuts. I told him that I was apprehensive of physical affection because a previous boyfriend forced me to do some things, and he replied that he didn't want to hear about the things I'd done with other guys, especially when I hadn't done them with him yet. And I was like, bro, I just told you I was assaulted. Should never disturb a partner equals should never disturb a mentally sound, emotionally stable partner. One of my exes told me something like the situation above, where he was kind of annoyed that you always bring up your ex and talk about him. Well, I was married to the guy, we were together for several years. A lot of my life was lived with him. What do you want me to do? Just not tell stories? Lie about who I was with? What? Oddly enough, we did not make it LOL. Next story 2. How do we handle this situation that my wife made up? So we've been planning our trip to home country for few months. And one of the points was, that I will pay for our living cost where we now live and she puts her paycheck to save for our 2-week vacation. The vacation was great, but we had to also fix our car there, that was not cheap. Last night she started complaining that I didn't help pay for our time there and car service, that she alone paid for everything and had to also send me money. Every cent of my paychecks was spent on our flat, our ferry tickets and gas for the car, apartment in our home country for that vacation period. I'm a bit confused. How didn't I help out financially in this situation? I don't even know what to say to her, I just feel disappointed. Her remark when I confronted her was, "Me, when you didn't work I sent you money anytime you needed it, I bought you stuff and never complained about it because I always think it's our money, not mine or yours. Her, only men should send money." I just feel so disappointed. I never thought that she would say or think like that. Comnet. My wife and I have completely separate accounts but a joint checking and savings for household and family expenses. She pays utilities and I cover everything else, daycare, all insurance, mortgage, HOA, kids' needs and activities, etc. We have an extreme difference in income, so I don't mind that at all. When her job was mistreating her, I supported her leaving and changing career paths, as someone that knows how challenging that can be, as I too did this earlier in life while having a non-supportive partner, so it was important to me to make sure she knew she was supported. She's nearly tripled her income in 4 years since, and most importantly found a career that she finds rewarding. I was already very well established before we met, and we have a prenup. This is mostly due to having several employees that rely on me for their livelihood, and I have seen some things go bad when couples split, but also to protect what I built in the 30+ years prior to us meeting, if I'm being honest, but I made sure there are contingencies in place to take care of her should things take an unfortunate turn for the worst, though we both have a history of being more than fair and reasonable. When past relationships ended, I make sure that she doesn't spend more than the same percent of her income on cost of living than I do, which is around 20%, and we rebalance regularly. When I wanted her to have a 4WD vehicle because we live in a snowy climate, I paid enough down up front to keep the car affordable for her. It's important to me that she can save, have her own money and do the things she wants while not being strapped down to the lifestyle I'm accustomed to. We don't keep score, and consider everything we do as teamwork. She tried the stay-at-home mom thing and it wasn't for her. She wanted to get back to work after a few months of our daughter coming home, adoption. During that time all of the bills were paid and I kept money in the accounts. We also split housework, though I don't do the deep cleaning shit or laundry. We use service providers for this as well as lawn care and snow removal. We both keep things tidy, equally split time dropping the kids off, picking up and all other child rearing activities, though we do have a nanny also, making meals, etc. I was a single parent for years prior. My son was an adult when we met, and I was raised by a single father. I don't need a mom or a caretaker, I choose to have a partner. And that's what we are to one another. I definitely do more of the maintenance stuff for the house and take her car in for oil changes, etc., but I'm pretty handy and enjoy that stuff, and if I ask her for help she'll be right there handing me a screwdriver or doing what she can. We are very fortunate as we have financial security, so the yours/mine/ours stuff just isn't a huge concern for us, and this may be an outlier situation, but we also both come from humble roots, so financial stability is important to us. All of that to say I don't judge either of our ability to be a good partner on any financial aspect. which I think may be easy for me to say given the circumstances, but being supportive, helping each other grow, enriching each other's lives, etc. are the valuable aspects of relationships. I sometimes wonder if cost of living increases create partnerships out of necessity that wouldn't necessarily exist if things were different. I mean, this should be easily proved that you spent equally if not more money than she did on the vacation period, if that is what you believe. Bank statements, both of you go through them together, add them up. Your wife will include all the stuff on the vacation she paid for. You include all the stuff you had to pay for, including rent or mortgage and gas and whatnot. If you are being truthful, then she will have nothing to say when the figures show that. Even withdrawing money from an ATM shows up on a bank statement.